Hey guys, I'm Tim with bleepandjeep.com. In today's video, we will be taking a look at and installing a cowl air induction system from Trailhead Off-Road on Project Green Machine. First thing we need to do is to remove the factory air box. So let's start with that. One of the cool things about this kit is it eliminates your factory air box. This whole unit is going to disappear, and this takes up a lot of space. So with this out of the way, you'll be able to have more space. You could put a second battery here. I may do something like that. You could put some kind of a storage box here and keep some tools in it, onboard air, whatever. You know, it eliminates this. So that's one cool thing about this system. We're going to be doing some drilling over here in a second. So with the throttle body wide open like that, I want to protect it with something, just to make sure we don't get any metal shavings down there. The latex glove will work just fine for that. All right, let's take a look and see what we have in the box here. This is the tube, obviously, and the production model of this kit, this will actually be a black powder coated tube, but the one I got is polished aluminum, and it did not come with fingerprints all over it. That was from me. It was actually packaged very nice, and I unwrapped everything to check it out and get my fingers all over it. So we have a tube, we have a relatively small cone filter, and it's small because this has to fit inside the cowl between the firewall and the dashboard, but that should be plenty of airflow coming through there regardless. This is a 90-degree elbow. This bracket is what secures the tube and filter to the firewall of the Jeep. 4 self-tappers and a bunch of clamps. Let's go ahead and start with the bracket here and figure out our placement for that. This is going to go right here, and as we can see, there's a bunch of stuff in the way. Factory wiring harness, this stuff, and this bracket is going to have to come out, so we'll have to relocate this somewhere. So let me get this stuff out of the way, and we'll be able to lay this thing out. So keep in mind that this unit is for off-road use only, and this is not a smog approved unit for the state of California, if that pertains to you. Alright, with all your wiring out of the way, and start by placing the bracket where it goes, just so you get an idea of where you'll need to punch a hole. So I got a couple ideas to make this sit flatter. Let's take this over to the table, adjust these bends a little bit, and see if we can't get this thing to fit just a little bit tighter. So let's see if I bent this in the right spot. This is the bend that I just added to this bracket here. And now it should be somewhere about like that. So as you can see, that conforms a little better than it did. So that should be perfect. What I'm going to do now is drill the self-tappers, fasten this into place, trace this hole here, and then unbolt this whole thing and hole saw a big old fat hole right into the firewall there. We're in. And then I can kind of adjust things, make sure it's a square. There we go. Now that the bracket's all bolted up, I'm just going to take a Sharpie and trace kind of the angle that the tube is going to go in here. And this hole is actually an oval because the bracket is angled. If it were a round hole in this bracket, your tube would have to come in at the same angle as this, and it doesn't. It comes straight in. So I'm going to hold my Sharpie kind of at the angle the tube would go, and just make a real rough representation of what that's going to look like. You definitely want to be aware that you don't want to go too far with your pilot bit or your hole saw, because directly underneath this section is your heater core. And if you drill into your heater core, I have a detailed video on what that entails to replace, so be sure to check that out, because it's not a walk in the park. Yeah, she got away from me. Oh, it's so much fun. Oh, that's what the inside looks like. Sweet. So what I'm gonna do is put this back lined up here where the holes are, and then just with a Sharpie mark a few points here to represent my maximum potential opening. So I just went and traced kind of the inside of this bracket, as you can see here, and that Sharpie represents the most that I'm willing to cut out of here, and the bracket will still be able to cover this and you won't be able to see anything. A trick for getting these corners real nice is to take a drill bit and drill before you cut some nice large holes. So I'll start with a 1/4 inch and then go to 3/8. Then I'll just take a zip wheel and connect my holes, and I'll end up with some rounded corners as long as I can cut in a straight line. I should cut more out of the top here, but I'm stubborn. So now I've traced another round area up here, and with this die grinder I'm going to start eating away at this and going all the way up to that Sharpie line. And after I do that, I absolutely should be able to get the filter in there. Now the moment of truth here. Let's see if we can negotiate this filter into place. So I'm gonna squish it a little bit, but I'm not exactly sure where it's going to sit. Could end up right there, in which case it'd be pretty cool, because it will kind of hold itself in that groove. Now that the air filter is in place, I've placed the hose clamp here over it, and then I need to slip the bracket on over the tube. I'm just going to slide that up and out of the way, and work the tube into the air filter. Once the aluminum tube is inside the filter far enough, I'll just reach down in here at the impact and tighten things up here delicately. With the hose clamp tightened around the filter, the next thing to do is to slide the bracket into place here. This 90-degree elbow comes with the kit, and that is the next piece that we are going to put on. So let's make sure we slide our clamp onto the tube first. And we'll just walk this thing right onto the tube. And then I took the bottom clamp off all the way, which just allowed me to free things up, because it was took quite a bit of effort to get that over the throttle body, which is probably a good thing. It's a nice secure fit, so I'm definitely not worried about it coming off or anything. Alright, and all we got to do is tighten these down, these two clamps, and then the last thing to do is just to reconnect the breather to this guy, and we'll obviously have to shorten that up a little bit. Alright guys, that's basically going to wrap up the installation of the Trailhead Off-Road Cal Induction Kit. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's actually really secure. Look at that. The thing doesn't move at all. And a couple things I need to button up. This guy here is displaced. This bracket used to go right here, so it is displaced by this kit. And I need to figure out where to remount that. For now, this thing can jiggle around there no problem. But I might cut this tab off and tack it onto this bracket or something, and then zip tie my wiring harness back into place. One of the great things about this system is that it eliminates your factory air box over there, so there's really a lot of space created. If you're doing onboard air, you may relocate your battery to that side and put a compressor over here or a tank or something. It just gives you a whole bunch of options for whatever you may need to do. Alright guys, be sure to check out the description below for links to this product, as well as to the Bleep and Jeep site, where you can find a special offer pertaining to this trailhead off-road induction system. Be sure to thumbs up, like, and share. I hope you learned something from this video, and check these guys out. As actually, the video is not over yet. Let's fire this thing up. There we go. Yeah, I can hear it. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I'm recording with my phone right now. Let me put the phone a little bit closer. I'm over here. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's not that loud. It actually sounds kind of cool. Let's go out here and drive around a little bit without hitting anybody's cars. It's pretty busy at the shop this week. You just hear it go when the throttle first opens. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that sounds cool when you stick your foot in it. Alright, that's it. See you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.